Stock, everyone. It's so bad already, oh my god. I practiced this a few times. I'm starting to realise I'm not the kind of person that can be like, Stock, short stuff. This is what we're doing today. Tombo was really good at that. Tombo's still very good at that. What I'm actually talking to you about today is ethical buying, conscious buying. My kind of thoughts on it. I'm by no means an expert. I want this to be more kind of like a discussion where I like discuss it at you. This video is brought to you by Luisa. The reason I'm working with them is that they are aligned with my own personal morals. They're anti-fast fashion. I want to say fast food fashion, but that's not what they're anti. They're anti-fast fashion. This idea that we're constantly buying stuff and then just throwing it away isn't good for the environment. It's not good for our wallet. A lot of jewellery nowadays is very expensive, but breaks very easily. Luisa, their like whole idea behind the company was to like combat this. Their focus is on creating exceptional stuff that lasts. That's why they offer a 1-year guarantee. The other reason I'm working with them is I really love their stuff. So one of the pieces I'm wearing, just close my Facebook. So one of the pieces I'm wearing are the stud earrings, the lunar stud earrings. What I like about these is they're kind of subtle, but I also love moons. The piece I'm wearing is the gold horn necklace Brook. Another thing I really like about Luisa is that they're completely transparent about their prices. One of my absolute favourite things about Luisa is the packaging. It came in zero plastic and I'm really happy about that. It came in a FedEx box and inside was this. Inside the cardboard box was another cardboard box. I think this is a really pretty box. They all came inside this, which is just a little velvet pouch and, you know, no plastic. Inside the box was, again, no plastic. The earrings came just like this. There's hair on them, which is mine. They did not send the hair. Again, there was no plastic. Often when you buy earrings, you'll get something like this and it'll be in plastic and it's just so unnecessary, as Luisa have proved. I really keep stuttering on that name. I really want to say Lucia. The necklace did come in a little plastic pouch, but this is not a use it once and throw it away kind of plastic, like find some plastic on my floor. You know, like it's not a one-use plastic. This is the kind of thing I'm going to keep forever because it's a nice place to put my necklace. So yeah, I really like the packaging. If you like the pieces, I can offer you a 10% discount. It's Weasels 10. Let me check that. You can use Weasels 10 to get 10% off. But yeah, all the details are in below, down below. Yeah, so the rest of the video I want to talk to you about my personal thoughts on conscious buying, why I think conscious buying is important, and the kind of things that I've done over the years to be more conscious in my buying. And so yeah, when we started traveling, obviously we didn't take all our stuff with us. We offloaded it on a number of my relatives. Thank you, Dad, Mum, Grandma. And then over the years, we kind of, every time we came back, we sold some stuff, we gave away some stuff, we took some more stuff with us, and by the end of it, we were only traveling with one rucksack and one little bag each. Let me just show you. So yeah, by the end of 5 years, this was the rucksack I was traveling with. I had a similarly sized one. This is hand luggage only. We also shared this suitcase between us. Whatever continent we were on, we would have this with us, but we wouldn't necessarily have it with us. So, like, it would be on the same continent as us, but it would normally be, like, staying with friends or family because it was generally, like, winter clothes. What is my point here? My point is that we don't need a lot of stuff. People have way more stuff than they need, and you can actually live out of basically nothing for a long time. Obviously, this doesn't include stuff like towels and kitchen stuff and bathroom stuff because we would have that when we arrived in a place. I appreciate that if you live in a place, you have slightly more stuff because you need like cutlery and things like this. So what I'm trying to say here is that I think there's this real problem nowadays, and it's called consumerism. It has a name, where people just, they have a bad day at work, they decide to go shopping, and you know, I get it, shopping kind of cheers you up. It's like it's kind of like a drug, you know. There are people who are addicted to shopping. But I don't think it's very good for long-term happiness. I think we should be much more conscious about the things we buy. I think it's better to buy one thing that you really, really love and is also sourced ethically and isn't contributing to horrible things like sweatshops and cruelty to people, cruelty to animals, cruelty to the environment, you know, all this stuff is kind of connected, I think. Yeah, so you buy this one thing and you love it and you really love it, and then you appreciate it more because it's not just one thing out of the other 500 things that you have. Transparency, I think, is a real problem within the fashion industry, and I can appreciate it's really hard. Like, you go into a shop and the stuff's really cheap, and you know why it doesn't really come into. You don't really think about it. You're not like, oh, I wonder why is this so cheap? Where has this come from? Who made this? How much did they get paid? How has this been shipped across the world? I don't want to get too much into veganism because I know it's a real trigger word for a lot of people, but one of the things that helped me buy fewer things, but also helped me be more conscious of the things I was buying, is by becoming vegan, because then I, you know, limited myself to only buying things that didn't involve animal cruelty. So I don't buy leather, silk, suede, because wool. I'm going to just stop talking about veganism now because I know you're going to get annoyed about it. Yeah. And actually, I will say one negative thing about veganism. Like, there's this new trend of, like, veganism is kind of becoming fashionable and cool and blah, blah, which is great. But the downside of that is people think that they can use it as, they can just slap a label on it, and people, idiots like me, will buy it because it's like, oh, it's vegan, it's cool, it's not been cruel to animals. But then what they don't tell you is, okay, there's no animal products been used, but has it been made by, like, slave labor? Has it been made by children? Has it been made in horrible conditions? Has it been made with toxic things that are toxic to the environment, etc., etc.? So yeah, my point there was, just because something says it's vegan doesn't mean that it's conscious. It doesn't mean that it's good for people or good for the environment. That's why I don't buy stuff, because if it's good for me, I try and make sure it's good for the people, good for the environment, and good for the animals. And that basically leaves me wearing this top, which I've had for like 5 years. There are people out there that are good, and if you're not constantly buying things, you have more money to spend a little bit more on people who are conscious. I mean, companies, not people. I'm not trying to say in this video that you should feel guilty about every purchase you buy. I'm just more opening up a discussion. Or trying to open up a discussion. Speaking of discussions, I'm really enjoying your comments. Hopefully you've seen my reaction to comment videos. But another really great place to start a discussion is our Weasels Facebook group. I recently worked out how to approve the things that you write in there. So if you want to start talking, I always reply, or at least I always like it. If I don't have anything to say, I'm not going to reply, but from now on, I'm making a real effort to really talk to you. I think obviously conscious buying isn't just about fashion. It can also be extended to household items, food. Food is a really big one. And I don't want to go into veganism, but even if you like, veganism aside, there are lots of other ways you can buy consciously. Like, buying locally is good for the local people. It's also good for the environment because there are fewer food miles. I've been trying recently to buy stuff without plastic. It's so hard, and I actually have a question for you guys. If you know anywhere in Budapest where I can buy things like nuts and grains and pasta without the packaging, so if it's something I can go there with my own pot, that would be great. I've been having a great time going into the grocery and asking them to not put stuff in plastic, and them just looking at me like, what? Mainly because I don't speak Hungarian, so I'm just like, nem, köszönöm, in, have a bag here. Put my spinach in this bag, please. I've also been buying sauerkraut and just taking my own pot, and they're just like, anyway. Okay, this I'm recently into. One of the problems with the fashion industry and the jewellery industry and all these kind of industries is They kind of want, they sell you stuff that's cheaply made. It's not cheaply priced, but it's cheaply made, and the idea behind it is that it breaks and you go back and buy a new one. And I really don't like that. So another part of shopping consciously is repairing the stuff you're either yourself or getting it repaired. I bought these shoes that I really, really love. I've put them on so you can see. And you can probably also see my hairy ankles. They broke. They broke really quickly, and I took them into a shop in Hungary, and I was like, "See ya, help me." And the woman was just like, "Oh, okay." And she repaired my shoes for me. This is where they repaired them. It was really cheap, and I still get to wear my favorite shoes. And I get to feel like as well that I'm supporting an industry of shoemakers. My main point of this video is not to shame anyone, not to shit on anyone. What I'm just trying to say is what I try to do, and I'm not successful at this, of course. I'm not successful at this all the time. What I try to do is when I look at something in the shop, I look at something and I say, do I really need this? Do I know where it's come from? Do I know that it's been ethically sourced? And if the answer to any of those things is no, I buy it. No, I try not to buy it. I try and find an alternative, and you don't have to do this. But if you would like to do this, then you can. There's a choice here. I think we all have choices. Thank you to Luisa for sponsoring this video. Again, if you want the 10% discount, it's Weasels 10, and all the details are linked below.